First off, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakadash. That's all honor and glory to the Most High God through His Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and of course the Holy Spirit. I want to give a sincere and hearty shalom to all the Akwat and Akim that's out there doing everything they can to magnify the name of the Lord in these last days, right, and continue to endure. And of course, I want to give double honors to the elect elders that's been pushing His word in sincerity and faith for many years, right? So, it's just going to be a quick cold cut, man. Really, just you see the title is entitled, "You're Not Alone. I'm Not Always Mighty," right? And I think it's an important thing to go over, and an important thing to mention, man. An important thing to go through, because a lot of Israel, right, they come into this truth and they watch, all these videos, and they watch all their favorite teachers and speakers, and there's a facade put out there that when you're in this truth, you're always mighty. When you're in this truth, you're always so strong. When you're in this truth, you're always, perfect, upright. And that's just not true. And I think that's an offense to a lot of the people in Israel, because them believing that in this truth, they're supposed to be always mighty and always strong and always just pushing forward and never low. Whenever they get low, they think they're alone and the Lord's not dealing with them. Right. So I'm going to be the first to tell you, right, that's not true. Right. Me, myself, man, hey, I deal with a lot, man. I deal with depression. I deal with a lot of things. I deal with thoughts of even harming myself at times from this wicked place, man. Right. So you're not alone in feeling like, you're weak at times or low at times. Right. That's part of this wicked place that we're in. That's part of that cup that we drinking up. Right. So you got to understand, right, like I said, even your mightiest teachers, even your favorite teachers, man, hey, they not always mighty. Right. So we got to understand that and not be offended whenever we're brought low. Hey, whenever we're feeling low, whenever we're dealing with whatever it is we're dealing with. Right. So I'm not going to get a whole lot of precepts. I'm going to get a couple. I'm really just going to be speaking on it and speaking on, my even my own ailments and all the things I deal with. Like I said, I deal with a high level of depression, man. I'm not always, mighty and shaking the hand. Sometimes I'm extremely low. Sometimes I'm extremely hurt. Sometimes I'm extremely sad. You know what I'm saying? But of course, we got to push on and endure. That's part of the condition of the battle. I'm not saying not to endure. I'm saying don't give up because you feel like you're alone and you are depressed. Don't give up and you feel like you're alone and you are sad, right? Many people are sad in this truth. Many people are fighting depression demons in this truth. I talked to many brothers in many different camps, many different WFI camps, many different camps that are not WFI. And a lot of brothers deal with depression on a very high level, man. A lot of brothers deal with feeling low on a very high level. A lot of brothers deal with fighting off mental spirits on the highest level, man. Right. So you're not alone if you're having, mental issues. You're not alone if you're having problems, with your thoughts, man. You're not alone at all. That's something that's very, very prevalent in Israel. Right. And a lot of people don't speak on it. A lot of people don't talk about it because of the facade that's put out there, that once you come into this truth, you're just always, always, always mighty. Once you come into this truth, you're just always, always so strong. Once you come into this truth, you should never feel sad. You in this truth, you should just be thanking the Lord. Yeah, you got to thank the Lord for chastising you, right? But it doesn't mean that you're going to always feel strong and mighty, right? So I'm going to get a precept in the book of Matthew. Right? And brothers come in here, and you in the chat. Hey, man, put what you need prayers for in the chat, man. That's what we're here for. Put what you're dealing with in the chat. I'll pray for you. I ask people to pray for me. Pray for me for my depression, man. Pray for me that I'm strong and I can continue to endure. Pray for me that I have the right thoughts in my mind at all times, man. Right? This is Matthew chapter 20 and verse number 22. No, verse 21, I'm going to read it from. I'm reading from 20. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping him and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, What wilt thou? And she said unto him, Grant that these my two sons may sit one on the right hand and the other on the left in thy kingdom. But Yahushua answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask. Are ye able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? Right? What is Yahweh saying, man? What is Yahweh talking about? right? Yahweh is literally saying and talking about, hey, are you able to deal with the persecution that you're going to deal with by being a prophet? Are you going to deal with the lows that I deal with, the weeping I deal with, the sad times I deal with, the hard times I deal with? Hey, the damn temptation of Satan that I deal with. Yahweh I dealt with all those things. And when you come into this walk, hey, you're going to deal with a lot of these things on a higher level than you dealt with before, right? Why? Because now you're doing the work of the Lord. Hey, so now, hey, when you have depression, right, now Satan knows exactly how to bring you low. If you've been fighting with depression in the world or anxiety in the world, how do you think Satan is going to attack you in this truth? Is he going to attempt you with things about stealing? Is he going to attempt you with things about, hurting your brother? No. He's going to attempt you and attack you with that same depression demon you fought with in the world. He's only going to magnify it. He's only going to find ways to intensify it, right? But now that you're in the truth, hey, you have your power source connected back to you, and you got to continue to call on the Lord, and you got to seek for help from the brothers and the sisters in your body, right? Let's get this classic in Ecclesiastes. Right. Matter of fact, before I do that, let's go back to Matthew. All right, let's go back to Matthew. I believe I want Matthew chapter 9. This is the book of Matthew chapter 8, right, and verse number 19. Going into what Yahweh Shah was talking about, the drinking of his cup, right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 8, and verse number 19. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Yahweh Shah saith unto him, the foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nets, but the Son of Man have not where to lay his head, right? So understand, a place to lay your head is going into a place of rest, right? And Yahweh Shah is literally saying, hey, man, I don't have no rest. And he just asked the mother of Zebedee's sons, are you able to drink of the cup which I drink of? Right. So Yahweh Shai is saying, hey, man, are you able you're not going to have no rest. Right. You're not going to have no rest. And that's literal and figurative, man. You're not going to always have rest. Your mind is not going to be at ease in this place. You're going to deal with those mental problems. You're going to deal with that depression. You're going to deal with being sad. You're going to deal with thoughts of feeling lonely. You're going to deal with thinking people are out to get you. All these different thoughts are things you're going to deal with, even in this truth, because that's literally how Satan is going to intensify the things in your mind. Because first, Satan has to break your mind before he can break your body. Same way that the so-called white man, when he has prisoners of war, right, his job is to break your mind first. Then he can break your body. Because if your mind is strong, you can fight off anything, right? So Satan wants to break your mind first. And you got to understand, he's going to continue to go after that mind. He's going to continue to do it. And I'm just wanting to let brothers and sisters know you're not alone in this, right? I deal with it. I deal with it on a high level. That's really why I haven't done videos in a long time, right? I haven't done any sit down videos because I haven't felt like I was strong enough to do them. I was literally dealing with the highest demons in my mind, and I was trying to fight them off. And I didn't feel like I was worthy of sitting in front of this camera and teaching people a breakdown or whatever you call it, because I'm feeling so low in the spirit, right? But I had to continue to pray, continue to fast, continue to ask brothers to pray for me, to shake that demon off of me, to be able to sit first. Is the first video I have to do is this one, because I know it's a lot of people that's dealing with this, right? Let me get this in Ecclesiastes, right? It's the book of Ecclesiastes, which is another classic precept as well. Chapter 1 and verse number 18. Is that what I want? Salakia. Oh, that's 2. Yeah. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse number 18. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth in knowledge increaseth in sorrow. Right. So the more you increase in knowledge, literally the more you're going to increase in sorrow in these last days. Right. That's from the wisest man to walk the earth. Right. So the more and why is that? One, because you're going to groan at the wickedness that you see. And also because the higher your knowledge is, the more Satan is going to come after you. The more Satan is going to tempt you. The more Satan is going to work on you. Right. Hey, if you're being chastised at a heavy level in your mind, that means Satan is really, really trying to deal with you, man. He's really trying to get you out of this thing. And that's the whole reason for this video, because like I said, a lot of people, when they're being tempted or being persecuted by Satan on that level, and they start dealing with this mental stress, they start dealing with this depression and this anxiety, they really start feeling like the Lord not dealing with them because they're not strong enough. And like I'm gonna keep saying it, you are not alone, right? There's many brothers, including myself, that deal with depression and anxiety and many other things, man. You are not alone. Brothers just don't want to come out and say it because they feel like they're weak for saying it, and you're not alone. Many people in the scriptures, right? Hey, they asked the Lord to take them off of this God-forsaken earth because they rather be dead than be here, man. Right? Let me get this. Hey, one of the most mightiest prophets, man, Elijah. Right? Let's go to 1 Kings. Right? It's the book of 1 Kings, chapter 19, right? In verse, I'm gonna start at the top. And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, and with all how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. Right. So Elijah just did many mighty works, man. Elijah damn called down fire from heaven. Right. Elijah damn called down fire from heaven and slayed the prophets, slayed a captain over 50. Right. Elijah then did many things, man. Right. Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, so let the gods do to me, and more also, if I make not thy life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time. And when he saw that, he arose and went for his life and came to Beersheba, which belonged to Judah, and left his servant there. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under a juniper tree. And he requested for himself that he might die, and said, it is enough, O Yahweh, take away my life, for I am not better than my fathers. Right? So he was ready to die, man. Right? He wasn't ready to die, oh, I'm going to battle. He was ready to die because it was too much. He was mentally tired, man. He was tired of running for his life. He was tired of worrying about, the wickedness, right? It's the same way that you may have those type of thoughts and you just be tired. That's that no rest that we're talking about, right? That's that much sorrow with much wisdom that we're talking about, right? That's depression that we're talking about, man. That's literal depression, man, when you just don't want to do it anymore. You just want to give up. You don't want to live here anymore. You don't want to deal with it. You don't want to go into work. You don't want to sometimes you don't even want to be around people, man. You just want to go. You just want to be at rest where your mind can be at rest, man. You're tired of thinking so many thoughts, and then you starting to spiral more and more and more. And they're just spiraling and just spiraling and just spiraling. And you look up, man, and it was 9 o'clock at night, and you look up, and now it's 5 o'clock in the morning. It's time to go to work. And you couldn't shut your eyes for an hour because you had so many thoughts spiraling in your mind. And now you're getting sadder and sadder, man. And now you're even more depressed because you kind of got to go to work now, right? And nobody around you kind of understands. They're kind of upset with you. Why you always look like that? Why are you sad? Why are you not happy, right? They don't understand that. So we got to understand, hey, you're not the only one to go through this. And I'm not saying you're not the only one to go through it, get over it. I'm saying you're not the only one to go through it. Don't give up. You're not the only one to go through it. It doesn't mean the Lord's not dealing with you, right? Let's get another one. Let's go to the Apocrypha. Let's go to the book of Tobit, right? Right, it's the book. Bear with me. Tobit, chapter 3, and verse 1. Then said I, being grieved, did weep, and in my sorrow prayed, saying. So Tobit was weeping in his sorrow. Hey, why? Because Tobit was sick in his body, right? He was a righteous man, and he was doing a good work, and he ended up getting blinded for that, man, right? And he already had everything taken away from him once, right? You don't think Tobit in his mind was depressed? Like, damn, I lost my eyesight, man, by doing what was right. I had my wife and my son taken from me before. Hey, my people laughing at me, right? Man, I just don't want to be here no more. That's how Tobit was feeling. And he was crying. So yes, men of the Lord, mighty men of the Lord cry, man. Hey, man, I cry, man. I cry, right? We gonna cry in this thing, man. Hey, yeah, how was I cried, man? So men of the Lord do cry, man. So even if you like some brothers, they kind of, they don't want to cry. They feel like, hey, I'm a man, I shouldn't cry. Hey, we kind of taught that in the so-called black households, man. Men don't cry. Men don't get depressed. Men shouldn't feel like they're weak, because they are weak if they feel weak. Hey, man, mighty men of the Lord cried, man. It's okay to cry. Just because you cry don't mean you less of a man. Just because you cry doesn't mean the Lord's not dealing with you because you cry. Oh, that brother's weak. He don't got the strength. That's going off, man. Right? So reading on. I'm reading from the top again. Then I, being grieved, did weep, and in my sorrow prayed, saying, O Lord, thou art just in all thy works, and in all thy ways are mercy and truth. And in thou judgest truly and justly forever. Remember me, look on me, punish me not for my sins and ignorances, and the sins of my fathers who have sinned before thee. For they obeyed not the commandments, wherefore thou hast delivered us for a spoil unto captivity, unto death, and for a proverb and a reproach unto all nations among whom we are dispersed. And now thy judgments are many and true. Deal with me according to my sins and my fathers, because we have not kept the commandments, neither have we walked in the truth before thee. Now therefore deal with me as seemeth best unto thee, and command my spirit to be taken from me, that I may be dissolved and become earth, for it is profitable for me to die rather than live, because I have heard much false reproaches and have much sorrow. Command therefore that I may now be delivered out of this distress and go into the everlasting place. Turn not thy face away from me. So Tobit is literally praying and asking for the Lord to take his soul because of this distress, man. That's literally depression, man. That's literally how you feel, right? And the Lord didn't take Tobit. Not then, not for a while. The Lord wasn't ready to take him yet. So there was nothing wrong with Tobit feeling that way. Nobody came to Tobit and think Tobit ain't mighty. Like, brothers know Tobit was mighty, man. And he loved the Lord. So he didn't love the Lord any less because he wanted to die and be with the Lord, man. Right? Hey, Paul wanted to be with the Lord, man. Right? Let's get that. You think Paul enjoyed getting whipped, thrown in jail? Of course, on a certain level, it's of course like he's doing the work of the Lord, and it shows his zeal and his love for the Lord and his people, right? But you think he enjoyed, being whipped and beaten, right? Let me get this. I believe it's Philippians. Right, this is the book of Philippians, chapter 1 and verse 20. According to my earnest expectation and my hope, that in nothing I shall be ashamed, but that with boldness as always, so now that Hamashiach shall be magnified in my body, whether it be a life or by death. For to me, to live is Hamashiach, and to die is gain. So he's saying to die is gain, right? And he says, but if I live in the flesh, this is the fruit of my labor. Yet shall I choose, I want not. So he's saying, hey, if I live, it's the fruit of my flesh. I shall choose what I don't want. I don't want to live, right? But hey, I'm gonna live, right? And it says what? For I am in a strait betwixt two, having a desire to depart and to be with a Mashiach, which is far better, right? So hey, he's saying it's far better to not be here. He's saying it's far better to literally depart. He's saying it's far better to literally, be with a Mashiach, man, right? Say you're in a strait. Why is it a strait? He's going to tell you, nevertheless, to abide in the flesh is more needful to you. He understands that being here was more necessary to the body, right? Being able to exhort, teach, and bring people into serving the Lord, right? So because of that, he knew it was more needful to be here. But he didn't want to be here. Paul didn't want to be here. Paul wanted to be gone, right? Let's go to Job. Right? I'm not here to tell brothers and sisters, you wrong for feeling how you feel, man. You're not wrong, right? And you're not alone, right? So like you. right? This is the book of Job, chapter 3. And it says, I'm gonna read verse man, this whole thing is mean. I'm gonna read verse 1. After this opened Job his mouth and cursed his day, right? The day he was born. And it says, and Job spake and said, let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night which it was said, there is a man child conceived. Let that day be darkness, let not Yahweh regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it. Right? So he wanted his day to be that he was born to be cursed. Right? Jeremiah said the same thing. Jeremiah said, let the day when he was born be cursed. Right? Let it not be blessed. Why? Because he hates the fact that he's here. He doesn't want to be here. Right? It was Job weak. Is anybody going to open their mouth and say Job was weak and the Lord wasn't dealing with Job because he didn't want to live, because he was depressed? Job was depressed, man. He sat and didn't say a word for 7 days. Yeah, he lost everything, right? That's not the only way to get depressed, though. Depression is just a state of mind, right? And if your mind is spiraling, you'll feel like you can have everything in front of your face. You can have your family, you can have your job. But if your mind is spiraling, you don't see any of that. All you see is the thoughts that won't stop moving in your mind. Those damn gears keep turning, man. Damn heart beating fast like you've been working out. And you're just sitting there. Can't get your heart rate to slow down. You know, that's literally anxiety and depression. And when you're dealing with it on such a high level, all you want is to go. All you want is to die. That's all you want, right? And like I said, once again, any brother or sister that's in the chat, if you're dealing with something, hey, put it in the chat and ask brothers and sisters to pray for you, right? Any brother and sister, don't be ashamed, man. Put it in the chat and ask brothers and sisters to pray for you, man. Right? The prayers of the righteous availeth much, man. And the Lord looks down upon that when brothers and sisters are literally inquiring about their people and praying for the people. And he's happy to see such a thing, man. Right? Let me get a couple more. Let's go to Jeremiah. There's a lot of precepts. Right? There's a lot of precepts. But I'm not really trying to grab a bunch of precepts. I'm really just trying to admonish people. Right? It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 20, right? And verse number 7. Oh, Yahweh, thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. Thou art stronger than I, and hast prevailed. I am in derision daily. Everyone mocketh me. So Jeremiah literally called on the Lord and say, hey, you deceived me, man. You told me I was a prophet, right? You told me you was going to make these people, my words fire, because I'm speaking your words, and these people wood, you're going to burn them up. And they mocking me, and I'm in derision daily, right? And it says what? For since I spake, I cried out. I cried violence and spoil, because the word of the Most High was made a reproach unto me, and in derision daily. Then I said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name. Right. So Jeremiah was so depressed about what he was going through. He said, hey, I'm not even going to make mention of the Most High no more. Because every time I do it, I'm made a derision and a reproach. Right. I'm persecuted for it. And it says what? But his word was in my heart as a burning fire, shut up in my bones. And I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay. Right. So he couldn't be quiet. Right. But the whole point of what I was bringing out was the fact that Jeremiah, which was a mighty prophet and a righteous man, and he felt that way, man. He felt that way, right? Let's go to Luke. All right, I gotta get ready to go to the plantation. All right, Shalakia. This is the book of Luke. All right. Book of Luke, chapter 22, right, and verse. What I want. This is the book of Luke, chapter 22, and verse number 40. And it says, and when he was at a place, he said unto them, pray that ye enter not into temptation. And he was withdrawn from them about the stones cast, and kneeled down and prayed, saying, Father, if thou wilt, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. And there appeared an angel unto him from heaven, strengthening him. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was as if it were great drops of blood falling down to the ground. Right now, Yahushua in this point, right, and he knew he was about to be put to death. And that's a hard thing to know. Even when you don't want to be here, it's a hard thing to know how you're going to die and that you're going to die. Right. Hey, but Yahushua, who is the strongest man on earth, strongest man to ever live, right, literally was in agony and in pain, in tormented of his mind of the thoughts about how his death were going to happen. That's the reason why I wanted to bring that out. That's how strong the torment of your mind can be towards you. Right. It can bring agony to you, man. He was in agony because in his mind, he knew what was going to happen to him. Hey, sometimes you may not know what's going to happen to you in your mind, but you thinking of things that are just as bad, man, or worse. And that brings great agony to your mind, man. And you got to do like Yahushua did, man. You got to pray more earnestly. You got to pray harder. You got to call on a brother or a sister. You are not alone, man. I'm not always mighty. You are not alone. Brothers are not always mighty. Brothers they're not always the brother you see on the video, man. They're not always the brother you see out there teaching camp, shaking a hand, man, screaming at the heathen, telling the heathen they're going into captivity. Brothers are not always that brother, man. Brothers are dealing with things the same way you're dealing with things. And I just wanted to really, really confess that to my people, man. And Lord willing, through my confession of what I'm going through and what I deal with, right, that somebody will literally understand they're not alone and not give up in this truth, man. Let me get to more. Right. Right. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 10 and verse 9. And when I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Right. So it's bitter and sweet in this thing. It's not always good. It's not always sweet. It's bitter and sweet, man. You're going to have great bitterness here, man. Right. But this is what I'm going to close out with. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 21, right, and verse number 4. And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, no more sorrow, no more crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Right? So, brothers and sisters, remember, what you're going through, you're not going through alone. But more importantly, remember, the day is coming when the Lord is going to take away all pain. And mental pain is the worst pain. And the Lord is going to take that away too. You're not alone. Continue to endure. Right? Reach out to me via email if you need prayer. Right? And you don't want to put it in the chat, or you need somebody to talk to. Reach out to me via email. I'll give you my number, and we'll do whatever needs to be done. Shalom.